Let's see if we good to go now. Let's see if we good to go now. Hey, how about so? Okay. All right. Cooking with grease or cooking with olive oil. Shalom, shalom, shalom. The why do you how about shout for the spirit, man? And we in the last days, man. Things are really ratcheting up. Things are really turning up, you know. And we were commanded, just a simple command by Yahweh Shai is love not this world, man. You know, our people are caught up in the things of this world, the things that they can get, the things that are allotted to them, and it's going to destroy them. You know, the Lord has made it plain and clear what He expects of us, what He requires. And it's not hard, it's not grievous. He really requires us to believe. But in believing, you're gonna separate yourself from the things of the world. You're gonna separate yourself from these evils, man. But before I begin, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Rawchaa Qadash. Double honors to our teachers, the apostles, and elders of Great Millstone. Much respect to the brothers living worldwide in truth and sincerity. Salutations and blessings to the elect, leaving on the words of Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. It's your brother Dawada coming next year with another lesson. Lord willing, is edifying. And again, truly, we are in these last days. Things are turning up, and you got to really separate yourself from this world, man. If you uh, get drawn back into this world, you draw back for the destruction, man. But let's begin here. St. John, First John, excuse me, chapter 1 and verse 15. And you see a header. Do not love the world. All right. First John chapter 2 and verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. You see that? So if you're infatuated with the things of this world, the dainties that Esau give you, guess what? The love of the Father is not in you. Remember, we can read in what is that, Hebrews 11. Well, Moses, matter of fact, let's grab that real quick. We're gonna come back. Yeah, Moses chose to suffer, you know. Why? Because he was able to see afar off. He was able to understand the promises, man. See, if you understand the promises, you're not gonna cling to anything of this world, you know. Yep. Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 27. By faith, let's see, verse 24, excuse me. Hebrews 11 and 24. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. You see that? So if you love the world, you basically want to enjoy pleasures of sin for a season. You see, this place is temporal. It's going to pass away soon. All right. How do we know it's going to pass away soon? Well, the prophecies entail that, man. Everything is lining up where this place is going down quickly. It's not tarrying. You know, the infrastructure, the MOTB. You got now BlackRock making an investment in cryptocurrency, man. Why? Because they understand it's the next thing that's gonna be relevant on the planet Earth. That digital system, which entails what? That market of beast, which is that RFID micro C chip, man. So everything is lining up the way the Lord has it spoken. All right. But 2/3 want to continue to enjoy these pleasures of sin for a season, man. They want to be a part of this world. You see? Again, 1 John 2:15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. See that? So basically, Yahawashi ain't tending to you, man. All right. Scriptures say the fruit declares that a tree has been dressed. So the Lord hadn't been attending to 2/3 of our people, man. You know? See, when the Lord attends to you, he's gonna purge things out. He's gonna take things away, you know. And your mind gotta be resolute to understand those are for your good, man. All right. It says, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. You see? Yeah. That pride of life, those selfies, those um look at me, you know, that's of the world. See? It says, and the world passeth away. So all those things, the pride of life, the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, all those things are getting ready to pass away, man. So why are you investing in America, Babylon the Great? Why are you investing in something that's getting ready to crash and go down, man? Why? Well, Lord hadn't opened you up. He haven't given you those senses to see that this place is on a sharp decline. In fact, the Lord wants 2/3 to be destroyed, man. You know, it says, Slakia, and the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever. You see that? So you doing the will of Yahawah, which really, we have no control in that aspect. We thank the Wadi Yahawah, we thank the Lord for putting us in that role, man. You know, and we hope He writes it in our script to continue. You know, but the ones who do of His will, those are going to be the ones that abide forever. See that? So why are you investing in this place? Why are you um, trying to make this place your abode, your home? Scriptures plainly tell us that this is not our rest. Let's grab that. Yeah, this ain't our rest. You know why? Well, let's get it. Micah chapter 2 and verse 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Right. America, Babylon the Great is not our rest. We were put here to serve captivity, man. We were put here to basically get our ass whooped, you know, so we can depend and hope on the Lord. It reads, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you even with a sore destruction. Right. Everything here is polluted, from the food to the water to the mindset of the people. So if you have a righteous spirit, you're gonna constantly be vexed here, man. You know, you're not gonna be content with the status quo. No, we're looking for a world which has righteousness in it, man. You know, because this place is messed up. You can't watch a TV series. You get good into a TV series and they introduce a Mo character, man, and that you don't want no poor parts of it, man. But that's part of this place being polluted. And that's why the Lord declares for us not to be a part of it, man. You know, He makes that clearly a commandment. You see? But again, you investing in a place that's polluted, but it's also on a sharp decline. It's temporal. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 4. We're going to start at verse 16. It says, for which cause we faint not, right? You can't faint at this thing, man. You got to continue to press toward the mark. You know, you got to continue to fight in that battle. See, it says, but though our outward man perish, Yet the inward man is renewed day by day. And how is that accomplished? Through reading, through studying, through watching videos, you know. Yeah, you're not gonna be soaked in the truth 100% 24/7 all the time, but you that's gonna be your first love, just to simplify it, you know. You're in the world, but not of the world, right? It says, for our light affliction, right? This is light affliction, man. You know, with the promises that are set to come, this is nothing. You see? Matter of fact, what is that? Romans. Let's grab that real quick. This is nothing, man. And understanding the promises, you know you're gonna get everything back. So what's the point of you clinging to anything here, man? What's the point? See? Uh yeah, I'm gonna start at verse 16. Romans chapter 8 and verse 16. The spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the most high. Right? It's the spirit, man. All right. Those things are gonna show forth that you are one of his. And if children, then heirs, heirs of the most high, and joint heirs with Hamashiach Yahawashi. Yeah. See? If so be that we suffer with him, yeah, you're gonna have to suffer, man. Again, this is our captivity. We weren't placed here to prosper, and you shouldn't want to prosper here. See? That we may be that we may be also glorified together. See that? So if you don't partake in the suffering, how you gonna be glorified, man? If you don't partake in the catching of hell and in doing those things, how are you gonna be exalted? See? We can read that in Second Ezra 7, where it says, even so is Israel's portion. Matter of fact, let's grab that real quick. Let all over the place with this spirit. Let's just grab it. Yeah, that's that straight and narrow path that's fraught with danger, you know. Let me just get to the point. Uh yeah, we get to the point now. You can start reading from verse, you know what? Let's just get it. It's for edification. Second Ezra chapter 7 and verse 4. But put the case that the inches were narrow and like a river, who then could go into the sea and look upon it and rule it. Yeah, the sea being a metaphor for the people, right? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? See that's suffering. It says there is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field, and is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow. Yeah, those all good things is the kingdom of heaven, right? This city that's built. The entrance thereof is narrow and set in a dangerous place to fall. Yeah, this place, man. You know, America, Babylon the Great, and its influence extends to the planet Earth, man. So yeah, this is a dangerous place to fall. Like as if it were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water. You see that? So you can't have any miscalculations. You can't stray off the path because either you're gonna get burnt the hell up or you're gonna drown, you know. It says, and one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. So yeah, you pondering your steps, you know, you watching the man in front of you, you know, you being observant, you're basically looking for those stumbling blocks that other men fall to, you know, those examples to take in. You see, it says, if this city were now given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? So it's a prerequisite, it's a requirement to catch this hell. to receive this light affliction as we read in Romans 8, man. You know, it says, and I said, it is so, Lord. Then said he unto me, even so is Israel's portion. See that? So it's a requirement, you know, back in Romans 8. And we'll read verse 17 again. And if children, then heirs, heirs of the Most High, and joint heirs with Hamashiach, if so be that we suffer with him, see that we may be also glorified together. Yeah, you got to suffer to be glorified. You know, you can't enjoy the sins of this world, the dainties. You know, you can't enjoy this wickedness for a season and think you're gonna receive the kingdom of heaven. No, it says, "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared." See that? Are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. So the hell that we catch, hey, it's that doesn't compare to the kingdom of heaven, man. All right, which again is fastly approaching. So why are you investing in something that is destined for destruction, man? You know, back in Second Corinthians chapter 2, excuse me, 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 17. For our light affliction, see that, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. See that? For, excuse me, while we look not at the things which are seen, but look, let me read this again. For we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal. Yeah, the America, Babylon the Great, everything here, this establishment, these things are temporal. See? But the things which are not seen are eternal. Yeah, the kingdom of heaven, man, which is fastly approaching. Again, these things are being made manifest right before our eyes that the Lord is getting ready to take this place away. So why are you investing in this place? You know, why are you doubling down on wickedness? Again, the Lord has to give you that mental faculty to understand that, again, this place is temporal, man. You know, the scriptures say it's going to pass away, as we read in what is that, 1 John 2. And how is it going to pass away, man? With a great noise. Let's grab that. You know, it's going to pass away with a great noise, man, by thermonuclear destruction. See? Oh yeah, love not the world, man. See, a new heaven and new earth. That's what we looking forward to. You know, getting out of this vexation. You know, we vexed every day, man. Constantly vexed here. We don't get no peace. You know, there's no peace here. Okay. Second Peter chapter 3 and verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night. Yeah, see? A thief, man. In the night. You ain't watching for a thief in the night. You're not paying attention when you dead asleep. Anybody can come in and harm you. All right. It says, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. Yeah, that was ICBM missiles. And the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. You see that? Yeah, everything here is destined to destruction, man. There's no other way around it. And we see it clearly. That's why the Lord commands us not to love the world. Again, why are you investing in something that's fun to be destroyed? You know, that's a bad investment. You know, the Lord then gave you an inside stock tip on the greatest kingdom that's ever going to be erected, and you get a ground floor view of the beginning stages, the building of it, and you shun it, you throw it away, you cast it away, man. The Lord, yeah, man. See, that goes back to not understanding uh, what you're a part of, man. You know, it goes back to not counting the cost. You know, see, everything here is temporal. Again, it's going to be burned up. It says, "Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons are ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness?" Right. We have to go into this word conversation. Right. Let's go into it again. The word is anastrophe. Right. Strong's G 391. Anastrophe. Manner of life, conduct, behavior. You see that? Yeah, your behavior, man. You're not going to be behaving as the world. Your manner of life, your conduct is going to be totally contrary to the world. See? It says deportment. Now, I want to see what this word deportment means. Real quick. Let's look it up. It says deportment, a person's behavior or manners. See, the Lord give us standards when we get this truth, man. You know, He shows us the proper. Oh, look at that, the proper etiquette. The Lord gives us the proper etiquette when we get this truth, man. Some of the similar words: behavior, conduct, performance, way of behaving. Yeah, you ain't acting like a nigga, man. You know, it says way of acting, way of conducting oneself. You see that? So the Lord, when we get this truth, that manner of life that we're supposed to operate in, it shows us how we're supposed to be conducting ourselves. You're gonna be acting as a fucking nigga, man. Salakia for my Swahili, you know, etiquette, manners, ways. See that? Habits. Yeah, even the things that you once did, you don't do them anymore, man. Your habits change, you know. Oh, practices. That's the spirit. Because the spirit had me been going into this word practice for the last week, man. You know, you practice how you play, you know, and this is practice time right now. Hey, the lights gonna come on and the game gonna begin, man, and everybody gonna be tested. Everybody gonna be tried, and if you haven't been practicing the way you supposed to practice, when the game start, you're gonna be fucked up, man. You know, practices. It says actions, acts, activities, exploits, capers. Right. The things that you are taking through, you know, those exploits, those capers, those trials that we are being taken through. At this time, is meant for practice, basically, man, because it's gonna be way worse in the time that we enter into. So that's another reason not to love the world. That's a bad word, deportment. You know, yeah, your behavior, your conduct, your manner of life, man. It doesn't supposed to be of this world. You're supposed to be separate, set apart, and that's what that word holy means too, man. You know, set apart, man. Your mannerisms, you know, all those things supposed to be different, you know. See, most holy thing, a saint. See that? Now down here in the Strongs it says sacred. See? There's nothing here that's sacred, you know, except for this truth, man. You see? Let's go back. Second Peter chapter 3 and verse 11. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hastening? Yeah, see that? So you're not only being observant, but you hastening these things to happen. You know, hey, and if you hastening these things to happen, guess what? You're not gonna love the world. Best believe that. looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of Yahawashi, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, this rulership, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. See that? Yeah. Everything here is set to be destroyed in America, Babylon the Great, and its influence that it extends into the planet Earth, man. You know, what is that saying? You cut off the head of the snake, right? And everything else crumbles. Well, the Lord is getting ready to cut off the head of the snake, which is here in America, Babylon the Great, and all his other entities in the world that operate, they're going to be destroyed too, man. Right? It says, nevertheless, we, according to his promise, see, you got to look past this place. You looking ahead, right? It says, nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness, right? That kainos, that refreshing, you know. That's why the scriptures demand us to repent, before the times of refreshing come from the presence of the Lord. See? So yeah, we're looking for these things, man. We're anticipating, as the elder hour rum often goes into that word looking for, that phrase looking for. It means to anticipate. While these people are going to be reacting to the plagues, we're anticipating the plagues. Excuse me, we're anticipating all hell breaking loose, man. You know, it says, wherefore, beloved, seeing that ye should look for such things, be diligent. See that? Be diligent that ye may be found of him in peace, without spot and blameless. You see that? Yeah, man. When all these things happen, you want to be found of him in peace, without a spot on your garment, blameless, you know, according to the ministry, believing in what the Lord has set up. You see? But again, why are you invested in something that's temporal? You know, why are you loving the world that's quickly passing away? Because see, again, everything as we read in Romans 8, everything here is just light affliction, man. You know, hey, didn't the prophets go through those same things? Then they suffer that light affliction, right? Matter of fact, what is that? St. James. There, that was actually a requirement of the prophets, man. See, so how much more us? Yeah. St. James chapter 5, verse 10. Take my brethren, the prophets, who have spoken in the name of the Lord, for an example of suffering, affliction, and of patience. You see that? Yeah, it's an example of affliction, man. Things are written aforetime was written for our learning, right? So the Lord has set up examples all through the scriptures for us to look for, right? It says, behold, we count them happy which endure. Ye have heard of the patience of Job, and have seen the end of the Lord, that the Lord is very pitiful and of tender mercy. You see that? So yeah, we got to endure until the end, man. That's a requirement. That's a prerequisite, man. You know, but this light affliction means nothing. It means nothing, man. Not when we see the kingdom of heaven on the horizon. You know, this is Second Ezra, chapter 4, and verse 26. Then answered he me and said, the more thou searchest, the more thou shalt marvel. For the world hasteneth fast to pass away. See that? And how are we understanding that the world is hastening fast to pass away? By measuring the times diligently. You know, we're not with our head in the sand or our minds in the clouds, man. No, we're looking for those things to come to pass. See, it says, and cannot comprehend the things which are promised to the righteous in time to come. For this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities, right? It's polluted, man. You know, that's why we're looking for a new heaven and a new earth. That's why we're looking for the kingdom of heaven to be established. So don't invest in this place, man. You know, it says, but as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee, for the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. Right. The evil has already been sown, man. That's why we're suffering, you know. That's why we're constantly vexed here. But the scripture say the destruction thereof is not yet come, which is the destruction of America, Babylon the Great, which is fastly approaching. And we read it up here earlier. It says the world hasteneth fast to pass away. Right? Verse 29. If therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that is sown with good. So it has to be this way, man. And you can't be a part of it. Remember our Lord Yahawashi said, I pray for them. I pray not for the world. So the Lord has laid it out that he ain't praying for this world, man. So why would you invest in this place? Let's get this and close it out. St. Luke, right? Chapter 21. And we're going to get it in NLT. Lord willing, this lesson has been edifying. St. Luke, chapter 21. And yep, start at verse 34. It says, watch out. Don't let your hearts be dulled by carousing and drunkenness and by the worries of this life. See that? Don't let that day catch you unaware, right? It's going to catch you people unaware, man. Why? Because you haven't been measuring the times diligent. You haven't been observing the things that the Lord said to look for. Matter of fact, the Lord actually has blinded you to it. Let's get this word carousing, right? That word carousing, the activity of drinking alcohol and enjoying oneself with others in a noisy, lively way. You see that? Yeah, man. The Lord said, don't do that, right? Now you in a stupor, you know? You don't know what the hell is going on. And this spiritually, man. You know, you drunk off the Babylon juice, as it were. Well, the Lord said, don't be in this carousing spirit, you know? Says, watch out. That's a warning. Watch out. Don't let your hearts be dull. And we understand that word heart goes back to the Hebrew word la, which means your mind, right? You got to be sharp in this thing, man. On point. Okay? Don't let your hearts be dull by carousing and drunkenness and by the worries of this life. Yeah, it's going to pass away. What a great noise. It's temporal. Don't let that day catch you unaware, like a trap. For that day will come upon everyone living on the earth. Again, that thief in the night aspect. You know, keep alert at all times, right? Watch, you know, keep alert at all times and pray that ye might be strong enough to escape these coming horrors and to stand before the Son of Man. And that's what our prayer is, man. You know, to endure unto the end. You see? So I pray this has been edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Rawchaa Qadash. Double honors to our teachers, the apostles, and elders of Great Millstone. Till the next time, Shalom.